Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all the viewers present out here today. I, Swagata Majumdar, your host for this afternoon, speaking live from Avalon Shiksha Niketan Studio, Kolkata. I would like to welcome you all on this happy hour session where we'll be discussing a very interesting topic, aviation in the post-COVID world. We have two eminent speakers from the aviation industry today, live from Dubai, who have wide experience with multiple renowned international airlines. Before moving on to our guest, let's see a glimpse of what Avalon Shiksha Niketan presents. May I have the video played, please? Requesting the digital marketing team to kindly play the video.
Yes, give me 1 second.
Well, that was a quick one from team Avalon Shiksha Niketan. So Avalon Shiksha Niketan offers industry-ready, government-recognized degree and diploma programs in tourism, aviation, and hospitality. For more information, kindly log on to www.avalonshikshaniketan.com, or you may also call on the helpline numbers 9564-940-800 or 9564-940-700. Well, coming back to our guests, our first speaker for the day is Mr. Chirag Chandi, AVMP, who's having a versatile 15 years of experience in the airline sector. He has flown with reputed airlines like Qatar Airways, Air Deccan for more than 9 years. At present, he's associated with one of the finest international airline as a cabin crew duty supervisor, where since long he's associated with cabin crew recruitment, option. Apart from having high educational qualification, where he's a double master's degree holder, he's also an IATA AVMP designation holder. Our second speaker of the day is yes. Yes. Sorry for the interruption.
No problem.
Our second speaker of the day is Ms. Momita Mishra, who has reached 13 years of flying experience as a cabin crew with renowned airlines. She has started her career with Air Sahara and continued flying with big brands like Jet Airways, Qatar Airways, and GMG International Airline. Currently, she is associated with one of the leading international airlines where she's flying as a senior crew. She's also a master's in human resource management. So we welcome you both, Chirag and Momita, in our live show today. Welcome.
Thank you so much for the lovely introduction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Firstly, I'd like to thank you and for calling us in this platform to speak about ourselves, and most importantly, to speak to people, who are keen to become cabin crew or get into aviation industry in the near future.
Sure. Thank you for that. So, Chirag, my first question would be for you, that how do you feel when you look back and see yourself covering 15 long years in this aviation industry?
To be very honest, I feel like, it just started yesterday. Because in aviation, as we say, time flies, it actually flies. We wait for our rosters, we wait for certain designations or destinations where we want to fly. And then, once we fly to that destination, again, we wait for our rosters. So it's very dynamic, it's very fast moving, very pacious life when it comes to cabin crew life. And I still remember my first flight, or maybe I think so, it was the observation flight which I did. I goofed up so badly, but still I remember those things. You learn from your mistakes which you did in life. So I believe so. Yes, it was a wonderful journey in this past 15 years. Learned a lot till today. Learning as it's a saying that learning never ends. And want to learn a little more about aviation in depth furthermore. So let's see how the journey goes from here. Thank you, Swagata.
Okay, so Momita, if you could share us your journey where you started from Kolkata and you landed in Dubai. So how being into this profession just changed your life?
Oh wow, it changed completely. Honestly, I still remember it started with the passion of flying. I clearly remember it was in the year 2007 when I saw an article. Those days, newspaper used to be one of the, thing where you can get to know information. Like now, everyone has a smartphone and they can get information about stuff. So I clearly remember, hello?
Okay.
It's okay now?
So,
Can you hear me now?
Yes. You're audible, please.
So yeah, I remember clearly seeing an ad in the newspaper about an airline where they were hiring. I had honestly no clue how to apply for it, how to become a cabin crew. So yeah, I was keen to be a part of this aviation industry and I started doing my research. I got enrolled myself in one of the aviation and hospitality school. And from there, the journey started. I started giving interviews. I landed first with one of the international airlines, which was based in Dhaka. Then I relocated myself. I moved to India. I worked with Jet Airways, flown domestic. And then I went to Qatar Airways. And honestly, it was amazing learning experience. Learn about so many cultures, so many languages. Especially when you fly international, you come to know about so many cultures and food, and it was an amazing experience, I must say. Thank you.
True. I absolutely agree with Chirag and Momita what they just said, because experience is something which you gain daily. There's no end to it.
True.
So coming back to a very serious topic, that COVID-19. As we all are aware of the fact that COVID-19 has affected the industries globally, including the tourism industry. So earlier, we always had this belief, that time, tide, flights, wait for none.
Yeah.
we used to say that, if you come late, you miss your flight. But in the
Yes.
year 2020, we witnessed the entire aviation industry coming to a halt. So, I'd like to ask this to Chirag, that, how were the airlines coping up with this crisis? And what were the new norms? Because you are associated with the airlines and you are we read it on the newspapers, but you are facing it and you are seeing the challenges every day. So if you could just share us that what are the new norms that the airlines have adapted post-COVID?
Okay, wow, that's a very strong question from a very small person. There are legends sitting in the aviation industry, with 40 years, 50 years of experience. So yeah, this question relates to them. But as for my experience is concerned, as far as I can see, how airlines are coping up, I believe so. It will be a week of. A lot of people are saying that, as the way the airlines and the tourism industry has dropped, it will jump back again in the same way. So there is no doubt in that. People, they have restricted themselves in this COVID, in this pandemic, in their homes, in their society. They are not going out, they are not traveling. So as they have stopped themselves, they will bounce back again. They will go, as soon as little restrictions were lifted up, from different parts of the government, people, they started traveling. So you cannot hold them. With the population which we have in the present world today, 7.3 billion, these people, they are not going to stay at home. Earlier, what used to happen is, like in your time, in my time, or maybe before that, the internet was not that very prominent. The access to internet, we used to go to cafeterias and spend little money and get access of the computers and all. So the internet was not that very accessible to people. Yeah. So to get to know a lot of things about different parts of the world was different. Today, because of the internet, we come to know that, okay, in Paris, this are the stuffs, which is accessible to people. We want to go to Paris, we want to go to New York, or we want to go to Amsterdam, or we want to go to different parts of the world. So when people, they see this, people, they want to go. They have the purchasing power today. You are not going to stop them. People are spending more on present, than they used to spend on investment and diversifications. So you cannot hold people. It's just a matter of time. I believe so. As soon as most of the population in the world are vaccinated, they are adopting towards the culture, of wearing the PPEs, or PPEs like personal protective equipments, masks, gloves, is getting to cultures now. So you cannot stop people. As it has dropped, I believe so. It's my personal opinion that it will bounce back again, and it's just a matter of time.
Honestly, I would like to add something here. It has already started, because in Dubai, we are talking about this part of the world. There were certain restrictions before. Majority of the populations are vaccinated, and there are certain countries which doesn't require any kind of regulation. And we see, like as a flight attendant, when we operate those sectors, we can see there is no more restriction of flying, and they want to fly back. So I truly agree with Chirag that as soon as they lift the ban and as soon as they remove the restriction, again, we will see the growth of aviation.
True. Thank you for that motivating word of yours, because that means a lot. Those encouraging words, especially for the
that's true, actually.
the viewers who are seeing you live.
Hopefully, it makes a difference to them.
Yes, absolutely. We all are looking forward for the upcoming positive days where we can go back to the normal life. Okay, so Momita, because you have seen ups and downs of different airlines in your long-term career, aviation career.
Mm-hmm.
So what, according to you, are the prospects in the aviation industry?
Well, like Chirag mentioned earlier about the restriction that people are not able to fly. So of course there is certain limitation right now, but in future, as I can see, I believe in one thing: whatever goes down, it comes up for sure. So in future we can see so many airlines, and in India, honestly, there are so many airlines, they are starting to start up their bases. So likely the same way they're going to start with the recruitment, and the entire process will come back to natural again.
Certainly. Adding to that, I will just add one more thing. You must be remembering it very well. How Jet Airways it went down, how Kingfisher it went down, how Air Deccan it went down. So one airline will go down, other airline will pop up. There is nothing, which is going to stop the population right now to fly. Earlier in our time, not in my time actually, our parents' time, they used to walk like 30 minutes to save maybe 2 rupees or something.
Yeah.
But our generation, what they are doing is, to get half an hour, they will spend 20 rupees or 50 rupees or 100 rupees.
Right.
It's just a matter of preferences. It has changed now. Sorry, Swagata, I cannot hear you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
the voice is cracking and
Hello?
the screen is frozen.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. You're good now.
Okay. 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 So thank you for that input. I'm sure
Pleasure.
this will answer. So, Chirag, what do you think is the future of Indian aviation industry?
Wow. Again, I'm a very small person, to speak on this. There are ministers, there are aviation ministry who is controlling this. There are CEOs, legends in the airline, so coming from me, it might sound, a very big thing, but Indian aviation, wow, 1.3 population, 1.3 billion people are there in our country. And there are, like I read somewhere, there are 270 plus airfields or airstrips which are there, which can be activated in India. So you see the potential which India holds. Why do you think that airlines like Singapore, they have invested in India? Airlines like AirAsia, they have invested in India. Why do you think Qatar they wants to invest in Indigo? And different various companies, they are looking into Jet Airways to invest. There is something. There is not. I will not say something. There is a lot of potential in India. Firstly, the labor market. If you see, most of our population are below 30. You can hear us? Hello, are we okay?
Yes, yes, absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely.
So,
yes, absolutely,
thanks.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Momita. So if you see the population, which we have right now, most, I think, say, more than 40% are below 30. So the next 30 years, if you see in Indian aviation industry, it's going to be boom. Okay, there will be ups and downs, there will be bumps in between, but nothing is going to stop until and unless there is an alternative of aviation. So alternative of aviation, if you see right now, there's only one thing, that's Hyperloop, and which will take time. It will be not very soon. Hyperloop will start. So it might be take years to start Hyperloop. So I don't think so. Anything is going to stop aviation. Indian aviation, especially, it's going to boom like rocket sky. There will be different airlines coming up. There will be different hubs coming up. There will be small. There will be targeting to small airstrips and aerodromes, which can be utilized. The more access to people, the more aviation will grow. That's my perspective. So it's again, it's a matter of time, and it's a matter of government inputs. If they are inputting themselves, concentrating on tourism sector, on aviation sector, I think so. It's never ending.
True, and I would also like to add on to this that we are very fortunate that in India we have a huge domestic market. So many tourist destinations where people are just traveling within the country. So I think even if the international borders are closed, we have got a huge domestic market within our country. So that's very inspiring and something very positive to think about.
Okay. Thank you, Swagata. It was an amazing thing, which you reminded me to speak. What we see over here is, I like to add on that. What we see over here is in the Middle East, whichever airline you name it, as soon as you say about Dubai or UAE or something, Emirates, Etihad, Qatar, various airlines comes. You see the market share of India, which they hold, is more than 40%.
Wow.
Indian subcontinent, if you include India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and all these places, it's more than 45% market share, which they are contributing towards these airlines. And these airlines are giant. So if they can do it, they are seeing a scope in India. That's why they are investing in India. That's why they have started this roots in India. So I believe we have a lot of potential in our country. So which is going to go very far away.
It's just a matter of time.
It's just a matter of time, yeah.
I mean, the moment they lifted the ban, they all started traveling. As we can see, we started to explore our own India, which is very, very amazing. And we hope in future, these people from this part of the world also do the same.
Hopefully.
True. Absolutely. Absolutely. A very motivating one from your end. Thank you for that. Okay. Now, coming back to one important thing, which I can see in your CV, that both of you have pursued your master's degree. Chirag is a double master degree holder, and you have also completed your master's degree. As you know, this
Swagata, you're frozen.
other job will give you so much financial.
Sorry, Swagata, if you can please repeat.
Repeat, yeah.
Your screen is frozen. We cannot hear you properly.
I hope I'm audible now. I hope
Yes,
I'm
yes,
audible
go.
now.
Yes. Yeah.
So what I can see into your CV that
Yeah.
you both have pursued your master's degree,
True.
which is to be praised.
Oh,
As you know,
Thank
that
you.
No.
industry, this
Thank you.
industry, this industry. No, why I'm saying this, because the industry which we are talking about gives a lot of opportunity to the 10+2 qualified people, and at a very young age you become financially stable. But still, why it is important to upgrade your educational or professional degrees?
Wow. Okay. I like to take on this.
Yeah. Go ahead.
If you're
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. What I believe is, okay, as you are saying, 10+2, they can start their flying. It's fine. We have seen people, we have recruited people with 10+2. But the thing is that, you should not be stopping your educations later on. Even if you have got into airlines or industry or, service industry, but you should not stop it. You need to educate yourself. Education is the key element. Because let's say, down the line, if I see 15 years back, I wanted to gain some qualification and education because of, various aspects, we're not able to do it. Then when we got financially stable and when we had a chance, to do something, we said, why not, let's go for it. Because, that's the thing, which will add into your CV, which will add into your experience. And you can take it up further, as I started as a cabin crew, later on we grow further. We got into recruitment, we got into managing the cabin crew members. So sky is the limit. The more you put in yourself, the more you polish yourself, the more you sharpen yourself, the more you can achieve. There is nothing which will stop you, to grow further. So you will start from cabin crew, you will go to supervisors, you will go to pursers, you will go to management, you will go to recruitment. A lot of various aspects are there. There are instructors, there are service instructor, there are safety instructor, there are managers. So a lot of scope is there, but you have to have that qualification in yourself so that you can grow further. Only with 10+2, if I'm seeing a CV, okay, as a cabin crew, they are fine. They can handle things, upon giving a proper training and stuff. But future aspects, I will not recruit anyone, who in a position of a manager or a supervisor who is having 10+2 degree. No, that's not enough. That will not give that much of statement, that, how knowledgeable is this person is. So that it's a matter of question. So from our side, from my side, Radha, I will always say that, firstly, if you want to become a cabin crew, get enrolled into some kind of industry, like you are holding, right now, or a school where you can learn things, from experts, from subject matter experts as you are. You can give insights to them, they can be polished and they can learn, what things are required to become a cabin crew. Later on, once they become a cabin crew, or by the time they are becoming a cabin crew, they need to enroll for higher qualifications. If they don't do it, then after becoming cabin crew, what are the prospects? After 15 years down the line as cabin crew, what you will do. So that's very important to start preparing from now, to start pulling up your socks that, okay, there is future also after becoming a cabin crew. Financially, okay, right now I'll be fine, but later on what to do? So keeping this question in mind, they should always walk.
True. I absolutely agree with you, because after 15 years, when you would be sitting on a table or a chair, you need your degrees by you, right?
Yes.
And also, I would like to add something, Chirag, here. Like, you know, when we, I'm sure when they are conducting interviews, there are many candidates, they are holding the same degree. So what sets you aside apart from all the other candidates? So if you have something special in your CV, I mean, if you have done something and if you have something, you know, extra than other candidates, it always holds a value. So yeah.
100%.
Something which will add a feather to your cap.
True.
Right?
True.
Absolutely.
True.
Absolutely. Very motivating, and I'm sure the viewers, the students who are seeing you both live would take a deep lesson in their life from this interactive session. So coming back to my next question. Yes. Okay,
yeah, I hope it is helpful for them. Yeah.
True. So Momita, as we all can see that, you know, I personally know you for more than now 15 years. So I see you the same.
Yes.
And, you know, you have really maintained yourself very well. So how important is it to take care of your physical and mental health to have a long-term career in this industry? How important is it?
First of all, thank you so much for the compliment. But I would like to say that, you know, it's just not being a cabin crew that you need to be fit. Past couple of years, we all have witnessed why mental and physical health is important. How you know, this
COVID has taught us.
Exactly. So of course, you know, being a flight attendant, the first thing which they generally, when a recruiter is recruiting, they see the physical aspect. There is no specific height or weight which is required. It's just that, you know, it has to be proportionate to your BMI. However, we fly, like when we fly, when you get recruited, you fly to different destinations. There are so many factors which is important, like jet lag, you go to different destination. Then there are different time zone which you fly with, atmospheric this pressure, and so on. It's like the list is you know, the endless. So also I would like to add something here. You know, when a passenger is flying in an aircraft, we always say this, that, you know, they are bored. So if you are physically and mentally fit, you can operate, you don't have to report sick and all these things. And also it gives you certain level of confidence. And I truly believe it's just not restricted to being a cabin crew. Each individual should take care of their health because it is very, very important. So yeah, you want to add something?
Okay, yeah, I would like to add something on this. Maybe, you know, it can be out of the track, but, you know, she is having 100 and something, one fever right now. So the commitment, you know, to things, you know, because she committed, so she is sitting over here. So this commitment and dedication is important in anything which you are doing. You know, even if you're flying, if you are a little down, if you don't want to go, and you still need that push in yourself.
You know,
sorry, your voice is cracking.
Yeah.
I see the, yes. Am I audible now?
Yes,
Chirag, you may continue. You may continue.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. So I was adding to it that, you know, this commitment is required. If you want to grow further, you know, persistency has to be there. The consistency in your approach of doing things needs to be there. If you do it for a while and then you stop and then you procrastinate things, no, it's not going to take you further. So don't stop. Don't lose your hope. You know, it's fine if you have been rejected today, but, you know, continue doing it. You know, learn from your mistakes. Learn from the experts that, you know, what are the areas of improvement where you need to work on. If you don't do that, then, you know, to carry on further is little challenging. So don't stop that.
And coming back to your question, Swagata, about the physical health and you know, well-being, it is very important being a flight attendant. Like, we are assigned to certain number of sick reports which we can do in a year. So if you're not physically fit and mentally fit, you are not able to perform. And if you're not able to perform, you know, there are zillions of people waiting to just get that you know, position. So it is, I will give emphasis on it. It is very, very, very important. Yeah.
Well, Momita, I didn't know that you are not keeping well. So thank you for that. That, you know, in spite of not being well, because you promised to be on the show, you have spared your valuable time. I wish you a speedy recovery.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Absolutely.
Anything for you, Swagata, and anything for the aspirants.
Yeah.
So that's important.
Uh, Thank you, Chirag. So, Chirag, now that you yourself being an expert and you take care of the cabin crew recruitment part, so what qualities do you look into an aspirant before hiring?
Uh, okay, there, the list is never ending. We see into a lot of factors. So if I cannot say that a person should be like appearance should be good and the communication should not be good. Communication is good, but the basic human nature is not there. Human nature is there, but facial expression or body language is not there. So it's a combination of a lot of things. The first and foremost thing is, of course, the appearance. If we see that the candidate has maintained himself or herself proportionately and nicely, he or she has been groomed properly, the body language is good, the hand movements or the facial expression is fine. So that's the first element which we look forward for. Second element which come is communication skills. How they talk. How if they are not able to talk to us, three people or four people sitting in a panel, how they are going to speak to 200 people, who are there on board. So the confidence level will not be there if they are not able to perform. So confidence is required. Confidence will come with knowledge. The more you know about yourself, the more you can be confident and you can relax down in the interview. So my first thing is, people, they say, be yourself. Why we say be yourself is because you need to know yourself first. Why I want to be a cabin crew? Ask yourself. Don't ask others. Don't copy from YouTube. It's not going to help you. Please, sorry. Ask yourself why you want to be cabin crew. Why? What are the things which you can bring apart from your physical presence, to the cabin crew department? What you can give additional to the passengers on board? How you can handle things. How you see yourself in 5 years down the line. Things like this. You need to ask yourself, if you are confident and if you are self-conscious that okay, I want to be a cabin crew because I want to travel the world, or maybe I want to take care of my family in a better way, or maybe I just want to move out of the city and I want to go to a metropolitan city and stay over there. So there are various aspects which you need to question yourself. If you are able to answer that question yourself to your self-conscious, then you can answer this thing very easily to the recruitment panel. So first, question yourself. Take care of your health. Take care of your grooming. Very important. Don't give any chance of getting rejected, even if it's a matter of 2 kgs of weight. No, don't give that chance. Before you proceed for that interview, ensure that your weight is under control. Ensure that your skin is fine. Ensure that you're groomed properly. These are the aspects which will look into a candidate in a very first stage. If the appearance and if everything is not proportionate, then we will not take this candidate to the next level of round. Next level, okay, we'll understand the communication skills and different abstracts or different reasoning skills we will check into. But if this first thing is not there, we'll not be able to carry forward this candidate. So there are various aspects. So I believe so. If you go to institutes like Avalon, or if you go to experts like Swagata and Ms. Jaswal, I believe so. You will get a lot of info about the subject. Don't go to YouTube, because YouTube, anyone can speak up in YouTube, and the things will not be that substantial, or maybe it will not be very true. So just look into yourself. What you are going to do as a cabin crew member. Question yourself and then proceed further. Again, at the same time, I like to add one more thing in this is, being a cabin crew is not everything. There are various aspects in the service industry. So anywhere, if you're getting a chance, start. It's not that if you're looking for a cabin crew, you have to start as a cabin crew. Start anywhere. Start in ground. You need to build that confidence in yourself. Even if it's a ground job, do it. Even if it's a hotel job, do it. But start somewhere. Everyone has to start from somewhere. So don't stop yourself. Don't restrict yourself. Gain experience and move forward. That's what I like to say. You like to add something?
No, that's it. I think you have covered pretty much everything about it. And yeah, so I would like to add something. If a candidate is going for certain interview, just like you asked, like what are the things which they are looking for, there is also certain things which they can do is little bit of homework about the company, how their cabin crew is groomed. These small little things plays a vital part. That's all. Yeah.
True. True. And I would absolutely agree with Chirag, what Chirag has said, that wherever you get a chance, please go and take up the job, because ultimately it is the customer service which matters. You know, everywhere we are doing the same job, be it at 35,000 feet or on ground, we are doing the same job. Okay.
Agreed.
So, very interactive and informative session. So I would like to ask that what message personally would you like to give to the aspirants who want to be a part of this growing service industry? Any message from your end? Because now the industry is going in a slow pace. If you see, the recruitment because of the COVID, obviously, because it's a pandemic restriction. So any message for the aspirants who want to be a part of this growing service industry?
As we have mentioned earlier, things are going to change very soon, and there will be airline who will start recruitment in India. Don't lose hope. Keep trying, and keep that motivation level high, and that's all I will say.
Yeah, even from my side, I will just say, you will never know your strength until unless, you're pushed. So you push yourself, you push yourself to the limits where you can see your strength, what you can perform. Believe me, we have seen candidates who were very nervous in the interview, and being nervous is very normal. Nervousness comes, when you're outside your comfort zone. In the interview panel, you are not in your comfort zone. We understand. It's very, very normal to be nervous. It's fine. But at the same time, you have to be confident in what you're saying. You need to know, how to hide that nervousness. So emotionally intelligence is very, very important. Learn about this thing. It's a very vast thing. I don't want to say it right now, but learn about it. Google it, understand the topic what I'm talking. Emotionally intelligent. It plays a very vital role. When it comes to cabin crew, or when it comes to service industry. And don't lose hope. Try and try harder as much as you can. And all the best to all of you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chirag and Momita. Let me tell you, there are a lot of people who are watching you live, and we have got, immense queries from students. They have asked few questions because they have really liked your session. So would you like to take some live questions from our students and or the viewers? And okay. So what I can see, the first. Okay, so first question is for Mr. Chirag, which says, what is this IATA AVMP degree designation holder? What is it actually? Actually, a lot of people do not have an idea, Chirag. So if you can just tell us about, because you are IATA AVMP designation holder. So what is it basically?
Okay, AVMP basically means aviation management profession. So if you are working in aviation, in airline, where you are working in the management, and if you have done certain courses from there are certain degrees which you need to do, then it will become into a diploma. Sorry, my mistake. There are certain certificates which you need to do, which you need to learn, and it will convert into a diploma. Once you hold that diploma, and at the same time you're working in a management, then you can call yourself AVMP. So aviation management profession. You can go to IATA's website. There are courses in various fields. I did my course in professional training, though I didn't pursue training part, because what I'm doing is very dynamic right now. So I like this part, management part. So I moved on, to that level. But still, I have done that thing, and I'm still pursuing in management.
Okay, that was something new for us, something new for everybody, I'm sure. Okay, so I think next question is from a lady, which says that can married people apply for this cabin crew job?
Absolutely, yes.
We are married. I don't know, a lot of people will not know that, but yes. We are married, and I think so. The current we cannot disclose the name of the airline because of marketing issues. So the current airline which we are in right now is, we got into these airlines, when we were married. So there is no restriction at that.
Yeah.
Leave married part, even if you have a child and if you look presentable, you are in that criteria, you are in that age bracket, you can apply for it. There is no limitations of that.
I absolutely agree. And I know why the question is coming, because there used to be a time when, I don't know whether everyone knows about it, flight attendants were the one who were like, people who go for pageants, beauty pageants and stuff,
Actually,
people
yeah.
who cannot make through the final, the rounds and stuff like that. Those were the ones who used to be flight attendant. Back then, I'm talking about long time back.
80s.
Yeah, exactly. But now things has completely changed. Even if you're married, as Chirag mentioned, we're married, having kid or whatsoever, if you are presentable, if you can, crack the interview, for sure you can become a flight attendant. There is no set rules that you cannot be, flight attendant if you're married or if you have kids.
Okay, that's I knew it, but for viewers, okay, now they also know it. Okay, thank you
Yeah.
for
Great.
that. Okay,
Awesome.
we have
Sorry, Swagata, you are frozen. The screen is frozen.
people now in the airline industry. So how
Swagata,
about
sorry.
the employment? Yes, am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes.
In
Yes,
between,
no.
your voice has cracked. So repeat the question once more, no, Swagata?
Please.
Yes.
So
Repeat the
heard
question.
that lot of people getting sacked now in the airline industry. So how about the employment opportunity offered to freshers or experienced people? So this is one question which has
Okay.
come from one of the viewer.
Okay. When the airline, they have, I will not say sacked, it's a very strong term, but, rather I will say redundant. When the airline has redundant an employee, they will not redundant anyone and everyone. There has to be a set standards. Just before some time we were talking that, don't report sick that much, have a consistent performance. When the performance goes down, we see monthly, quarterly, yearly, 5-yearly performance of a crew member, before taking or coming into an action. So a person, who had good performance, the airline will never redundant them, So I believe so, people who were redundant, there has to be some performance issues which they were redundant for. So now the airline, I don't think so, they will only take them back, but, they will be keeping up their options open. So they will not restrict to the only redundant people, who were, who can join again. So there will be opening coming up again for the freshers. So don't lose hope. It's not the end of the world. Even if there are thousands of candidates who are outside, your chances of getting into aviation doesn't stop. You need to have that self-confidence. You don't think that, because, there are 10 years experienced person, sitting over there in the interview, my chances are very thin. No, don't think like that. Have that confidence, have that positivity in yourself, manifest that, you are getting into this position. Then only you can become that. So don't worry about it. No, it's not a relevant question. Don't.
Okay. So thank you, Chirag and Momita, for sparing your
Most
valuable
welcome.
time
Most
and
welcome.
Most
sharing
welcome.
your views with our viewers today. I'm
Most
sure
welcome.
your inputs would be of great help for the future aspirants and also our existing students. So on behalf of Avalon
Anytime.
Shiksha Niketan team, would like to thank you both once again for being on the show. We really appreciate your presence on our live show today.
Thank you. The pleasure is
Thank
all
you, yeah.
ours. And thank you, Avalon. We have been into aviation school like this earlier. I'm talking about 2004, 2005. We learned a lot of
Cool.
things. So candidates, please, go into these kind of institutes and learn from them, from the subject matter expert. Learn the areas where you need to work on and improvise your skills, in that particular area. It will help you a lot.
Thank you so much. I would like to say, as Chirag mentioned earlier, thank you so much for giving us a chance to speak. I hope it was helpful and knowledgeable for the aspirants, and we were able to answer the questions. That's it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you so
So,
much, Mr. Chirag and Ms. Momita,
Thank you.
Pleasure.
for sharing your valuable experience with us. It will be very helpful for our students also, who's watching the shows and the viewers.
Hopefully.
Okay, well, that was a very informative and interactive session with Mr. Chirag Chandi and Ms. Momita Mishra live from Dubai. I would like to thank all the viewers present out here today. Our special thanks to Ms. Rinki Jaiswal, the moderator of the show. Stay tuned for our next live session where we bring experts from the industry for you. Till then, stay safe, keep well, and take care, all of you. Thank you, goodbye, and namaskar.
Thank you.
Namaskar.